Alright, seems to be working. Hello everyone, it's your bud. In today's video, I'm going to be making a Dungeons & Dragons monster or creature from a combination of Magic the Gathering creatures. Now, I found this cool website, EDHREC or something like that, and whenever you click on a creature, you get something like this, like creatures, suggested lands, suggested planeswalkers, enchantments, artifacts, sorceries, and instant. So for example, I just clicked, I found this one. I liked the art here of Karmic Guide, and it says you get flying and protection from black, and it has this echo ability that's kind of neat. And then whenever you enter the battlefield, whenever Karmic Guide enters the battlefield, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this has a bit of graveyard play, has flying and protection from black. And then we go down here, it suggests the top commanders you can use with this card. And then after that, it will suggest the new cards in case you've been in the hobby for a while and you want some new cards to add to your deck. That is D-E-C-K, deck. And then there's some reprints if you want to update. And then there's the high synergy cards. I love this Soul Herder art. It's so cool, isn't it? And then yes, you look like these are all just things that, Cloud Blazer, that kind of like that. So these are all just sort of things that would work well, and then top cards that would work well. So it's a really, really neat site. So what I like doing is I like going through Magic the Gathering creatures and then combining a bunch of them. I usually do 6 to 8 of them into one monster. Now in Dungeons & Dragons, when you hit level 20, your character is basically a demigod, and the abilities that they have access to is just crazy. The long list of abilities that level 20s can have is just crazy. So think of these monsters as basically a level 20 monster. Now sometimes I might pick something based on the art that I like, or sometimes I might pick something based on the ability. Now I was making some creature combinations yesterday, but I did finish all of those. I made 2 of them yesterday, so I figured instead of just showing you the 2 that I've already made, oh I really like this, I might show you the process that I do, and you might enjoy and find this fun as well. So you might be able to let me know down below what combinations you would come up with. So I think we're going to start with a Dream Trawler and something called the Collector Oaf, O-U-P-H-E. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but we're going to call it Oaf. Now, I found these 2 cards when looking through making my other combination monster yesterday. Yeah, I really, really like this. The Dream Trawler art is just beautiful. It's a Sphinx with flying and lifelink. Whenever you draw a card, Dream Trawler gets +1/+0. That's 1 attack and 0 defense, and until the end of turn. And whenever Dream Trawler attacks, you can draw a card. So you can also discard a card to Dream Trawler gains hexproof until the end of the turn. So you get bonus draws whenever you attack, and if you discard a card, you get hexproof until the end of the turn. Now I also like this Collector Oaf. It has activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated, but I really like the art and the flavor text. He steals power from treasure after treasure. Right here, there's the treasure. And what does it do for the Oaf? Nothing. I really, really like this. So I think that this Sphinxes usually guard something, right? So we're gonna have this Sphinx, but it's flying and it's Dream Trawler. It doesn't look like it wants to be like tied down into one place. So I think this Dream Trawler might make use of some sort of monster to guard its lair. So the Collector Oaf might be a complete nuisance, but perhaps the Sphinx has found a way to make use of it. And I'm actually just gonna open up the images in there so I can use these images instead, because look how great that art is. So yeah, this website's great because it has all of the art as well, just sitting there. So there, now I can get some high quality images there when I'm discussing those. So the Oaf and the Dream Trawler. I think I'm gonna make the Dream Trawler, since it has flying and lifelink and hexproof, I think I'm gonna try to make it just above being attacked by things. Like you just can't get to it. It's just unreachable. It's just above being hurt. And then the Collector Oaf, I think, is just going to be like draining abilities, just like draining mana, draining stamp, whatever we'll do in Dungeons & Dragons, however we can relate it. So like I said, when you click on a card, it shows you the top commanders that you could use for a deck with this card in it. It shows you the new cards in case you already have a deck with this, but you want some new cards for synergy. Some reprints. Ooh, I like this Keeper of Silence. Activated abilities of creatures. Yeah. Okay, I like that one. So that's how I do. So that's how I do. Yeah, apparently I'm going to say it like that. So yeah, I'm just going to keep looking through. And if we combine this thing with an angel, that would be very, very weird. But like, that could be a cool creature. So yeah, activated abilities of creatures and opponents control can't be activated. Now remember, we're going to be making a creature. When this is total, it's going to be equal to like a level 20 Dungeons and Dragons character. So think of the abilities they would have access to. Now I found this one. I was trying to record the intro to this before, but it failed. And maybe you already saw a bit of Karmic Guide. Maybe I used that as the example at the start here. I can't remember if this got recorded or not. I've just been having too many recording issues. Triad of Fates. I like the Triad ones. There's some really cool Triad arts. Yeah, but I just want to look through. This one does have Angel, and it's, I don't know. Soul Herder, should I? No, that's nothing. I just like the art for that. So for some of these, I just want to grab cool art to make some cool themed creature. And then for other these, I want to just grab cool abilities. So I just look through. I don't know what all of these cards do. I know what some of them do because I was looking at them yesterday. Like the Peregrine Drake. I love the art, but not exactly the most desirable traits for a really, really cool thing. Although potentially could be useful. I never know what I'm going to make. Now there is Kiki-Jiki. It's a copy of a target non-legendary. Token as haste. Sacrifice it. I did have Kiki-Jiki, but I think if that's just gonna make tokens, then I don't think I really want it. Let's find something Kiki-Jiki related just for the trickery. I like the trickery of Kiki-Jiki. So that's sort of what I'm... Token... Maelstrom Wanderer, that's cool. Creatures you control have haste, cascade. When you cast the spell, exile from the top of your library until you have non-land, and then you put it on there. Oh, okay. Not really ability. I think I want Brian Stout Arm. That's an interesting art. Lifelink, sacrifice another creature, deals damage equal to the sacrifice. That's actually fairly good. Oh, it's throwing a goblin. That's hilarious. Urabask the Hidden. So at the start of this, I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to keep in of all of my just like humming and hawing, but eventually I'm going to have enough to build into a cohesive creature. I think that's it. Ooh, what was that thing? Deceiver Exarch. I really like this. Choose one. Untap target. Nah. Nope. Okay, so I think we're going to leave Kiki-Jiki behind. And I also like the Prowling Serpopard. So it's supposed to be Serpent and Leopard, but they went Serpopard? That's a weird name. I never actually read it. I just went I thought it was Serpard. Like Serpent and Leopard, but nope. So what should we get here? What's this Whispering Hunter thing? That's too many arms and legs. Or is it normal amount of legs, multiple arms? And it has sacrifice a snake. Nope. Oh, this is snake deck. Okay, so that's where lots of the synergy's coming from. Suke, son of Seshiro. So it's all snake stuff. Patron of the Orochi, snake offering. That's untapping. So yeah, this is more untapping and snake. I might want to look through the Necropanther thing here just to see what the mutate abilities are, because I haven't looked through the new mutate cards from Ikoria. If you haven't seen my Ikoria video, I highly recommend it. I think that's when I started getting back into this sort of thing where I like doing this. So yeah, when I started learning about Ikoria again, I started making some more monster combinations. Watch my Ikoria video if you haven't already. I love this art on Fleecemane Lion. It's so good. As long as it's monstrous, that's an interesting one. We could get the Oaf, or actually, we could get the Dream Trawler and have the Dream Trawler potentially shift to become monstrous. So it could be hexproof and indestructible when it's monstrous, or could have fly and lifelink when it's not monstrous. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. So Fleecemane will move over by Dream Trawler. Now, Collector Oath, I think it's time for us to look through the suggested cards for that to see what comes up. Now, I'm not going to be mixing in any gods, because I don't think that's fair to make a creature while using powers of gods. So I do allow myself to use many different varieties of cards. I will do a planeswalker or a creature or an artifact. I'll try not to do more than one enchantment or artifact per creature. So they won't have like... I'll try to maybe do one sorcery or one enchantment, but I try not to use artifacts. Artifacts are too solid of a thing. They're not the creature. They're the equipment that the creature uses. So I try not to do that. Diabolic Intent. See, I don't think the oaf would have much to actually sacrifice. But I think if we can make the oaf just like destroy things, and I really do like Nature's Claim. Nature's Claim is pretty beautiful, and it kind of fits with the oaf thing of just like nature being nature and just tearing down the things that we hold dear. I like that. Priest of Titania, I like that art. Oh, just a simple one. Spell Seeker. Simple again. Now, I might be missing some really interesting ones, and you let me know down below what you would have done. Maybe you saw something out of the corner of your eye, or maybe you know about cards that I just don't know about, and you knew the perfect combination. But yeah, I'm looking for just... Denial's the wrong word. I'm looking for just the most, like, you hate fighting this person ever. I kind of like this one, but I just love the art on Bloom Tender. The art's just so beautiful. Caustic Caterpillar. What if the familiar had a familiar? So what if the Collector Oaf was like this thing that has a bunch of small creatures it uses to its advantage? So it could have a bunch of Caustic Caterpillars that it uses. Let's leave that as a possibility. So if the oaf itself doesn't steal your magic, then it might have small little bugs. Yeah, to have it be able to shroud itself. I like that. Hushbringer I used in one of the ones I made yesterday, so if you want to know more about what I made the Hushbringer into, then let me know and I can share that creature. See, the thing is, you might have noticed from me, I don't really like red cards. But that being said, I am just making a creature today, not a creature that I think I would have any use of, just a cool creature. I thought, yeah, some sort of thing that denies and steals magic, and like I said, I don't like to use artifacts because an artifact feels like a tool that's being used, but you might give them the Toxic Deluge effect or something like that. So these sorceries are great as sort of like a creature's like lair effect or legendary action or something like that. Some of these might have the perfect thing for the creature, but if I don't like the art, then I'm not going to add it to it. Yep, we need Meltdown too, that way the thing can destroy artifacts. Oh, wouldn't that just be worse? You come to this oaf thing and it melts down your artifacts. It breaks all your enchantments. Oh, I hate this thing. Yeah, I think it might need an extra turn, a time warp thing. That would make the oaf very good. Some sort of, you can sacrifice a land to shroud. You can take an extra turn, so it could have like a time bubble-esque thing. Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to make it too powerful, but a level 20 player character is just insane. I was just thinking about Carpet of Flowers for maybe the Sphinx. Let's get Utopia Sprawl. See, for the Sphinx has to guard some sort of place. So I'm thinking for the Sphinx, an enchantment of some sort for a place. But yeah, I think I might want to choose some sort of place or some mana breach. No. Yeah, some sort of place to tie the Sphinx to, or some sort of ability of like the Sphinx having. No. Sterling Growth. That's a beautiful piece of art. All other enchantments you control can't be the targets of spells or abilities. Can't be the target. Well, that seems like the Sphinx thing, doesn't it? So this one over here by Fleece. Okay, so I'm gonna actually just save a bunch of these, get rid of a bunch of tabs, come back in a moment or two. Okay, so I have been using, oh, I love this Brokos art. That's great. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the new Brokos cards yet. That's great. So I've been saying monster or creature, but honestly, what I use this process for the most is creating a familiar. Adorned Pouncer. I love that art. That's so cool. Oh, I like the Eternalized one. That's kind of neat. Yeah, but I like this. I like this for making a familiar. So I don't know if you guys ever watch anime where like some person summons a familiar, you know, familiar of zero or whatever. There's always anime. There's always the episode with the familiar summoning episode in whatever magic anime. I like the Arbiter too. Yeah, so I love those episodes when like someone, like a whole group of people, maybe a whole class will each summon a monster one after another, and you'll get to see all the cool creations and cool creatures, and ooh, can't be countered. Have trample. I like that one. Yes, I really like that. So this is a cool exercise for you to just create, think of this as a familiar. And even though something might have level 20 abilities when you create the monster, you can then just like imagine what abilities they would start with. And I like to think of it like this. So your entire combination of creatures, however many monsters, turn into one thing here. So we're going to make the Dream Trawler and the Oaf. So no matter how many things are being combined into it, the level 20 version of the familiar is the same as the level 1, only think of it like Pokemon. You could have a 100 level Pokemon, but if you haven't gotten the trainer's badge to allow you to control them, they're not going to listen to you. Well, in this case, your familiar would have all the abilities that it will ever have at the very start, but you only have so much mana to bring out so many of those abilities. So yes, think of it like that. So no matter what these things are, like if this Dream Trawler eventually is like part Fleece Mane, part Sterling Grove, whatever, and it's just like the most insane level 20 sort of creature that you could ever imagine. Imagine that it's a familiar to someone, and that person can only draw out so much of the magic until they've gained to a certain level. So when you're level 5 wizard, you can only get so much out of your familiar. Your familiar will always be whatever level it will always be, but you need to be a higher level to get the use out of them. I love this art here. Mist Stalker. Ooh, yeah. So imagine the Dream Trawler, but with horns and mist and sort of larger claws. Look at these hands. So imagine hands like that, plus horns that go. So if this head was facing forward, the horns would be going back. So horns going back, and it already has this crest thing. So horns plus larger hands. Okay, and it's like a mist thing. All right, so see, we're creating some cool things. Interesting. Now, I usually don't put anything with red in here, but like I said, I'm just making this just for fun. Colossification. Oh, that would just be the end of the world if cats got to be that size. I mean, how many billions of animals? Like what, 3 to 6 billion birds a year, or small animals a year from just normal cats? That would be the end of the world. Yeah, so I might say creature, I might say monster, rancor. That's a rancor? Yeah, so, but think of this however you will. Shield of the Oversoul. That's more giving things, although, potentially. Oh, the Rancor one is pretty good. Returning from the graveyard. So if we had Dream Trawler mixed with Mist Stalker, mixed with coming back from the graveyard, you could think of the mist as it, like, it doesn't die. When you die, its physical body dies, but its soul might be in the dream plane, and then it reforms into mist. I kind of like that idea. So yeah, the Dream Trawler reforms into mist. It's got denial. Now I'm gonna actually just make sure that I bookmark these, bookmark this so I don't lose it, and bookmark real the mist stalker, and then Rancor. Yeah, so I might say monster, I might say creature, but you can do this exercise for whatever you want. Familiars. Ooh, the last troll looks cool. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's just perfect right there. And see, the thing I'm also looking at is the cost here. So this is a 2 mana and then 2 green. And then you get all of these abilities for such a low cost. So in the end, if I have multiple things with similar abilities and one has like an insanely high cost to use it, I'm not going to do that. And like I said, I try not to put in any god cards. This one's a nymph though. An aura with enchant creature becomes a creature again if it's not attached. What? This should make clear how little I know about Magic the Gathering. Now, whenever they say like sacrifice creature or draw cards or things like that, I think of like drawing cards as the 3 or 4 seconds it takes for each turn. You could think of drawing a card as preparing a spell within those 3 or 4 seconds in Dungeons and Dragons. So if you can prevent someone from drawing a card, you can prevent someone from perhaps acting on a spell. Ethereal armor, that's for each enchantment you control. No, because that could work well. We could give the Sphinx ethereal armor and then have the oaf be actually collecting enchantments, and then the two of them together, the oaf collects enchantments, but the oaf steals the enchantment from the thing. So it wouldn't have any enchantments under its control. Steel of the Godhead. Ooh, I love that art. As long as enchanted creature is white, it gets +1 and has lifelink. Oh, we already have that. Is blue unblockable. Okay. All that glitters. Oh, I love that too. I really, really like that art. So, let's put the ethereal armor and all that glitters over here just so we can actually, just in case. And I'm gonna look at that art larger size because I think that looks really, really cool. The fairy's glee at her trove quickly fades to contentment, then boredom, then to an urge to steal more. Well, that doesn't really, I was gonna say that doesn't really sound like the Dream Trawler, but that sounds exactly like the oaf. Yes. What if we make the oaf something that can both collect enchantments to gain a bonus, but then can consume the enchantments to gain a different kind of bonus? That could be interesting. So yeah, we could make that actually part of the oaf's thing. And then this thing could potentially work for controlling the enchantments. So the oaf could have 2 stages. It could control enchantments, and then, so yeah, in this case, in draw a card. So what would draw a card mean in Dungeons and Dragons? I think draw a card would be sort of like get an action. So whenever an enchanted creature or enchantment creature you control attacks, you get a bonus action, perhaps. Now maybe not a full action, but like a bonus action or something. That could be interesting. All right, yeah, we'll put that one up here as well. Ethereal armor, we'll make sure to bonus that one as well. Okay, so we don't know exactly what the oaf's gonna turn into. Is it gonna be a stealer that uses things, or a stealer that just like drains all magic and energy? Anyway, so let's see, we've got Dream with Fleece. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. Kestia would be a different one. Collector Oath, do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what we have so far and see what we can come up with. Okay, so I just spotted Destiny Spinner as well. We'll take Destiny Spinner. That's got some cool abilities. Yeah, I was looking through the related thing to Meltdown. Meltdown, this one, Destroying, and I found Destiny Spinner. We'll add this one as well. Okay, so I have 13 here for the oaf, and I only allow myself to have 8 at maximum. And for the Dream Trawler, 1, 2, 3, 4, I only have 6. 5 less from here. I guess we don't need the Caustic Caterpillar. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's just so good though, but do I want to destroy if I'm stealing? No, I don't think we're going to keep the Caustic Caterpillar. We can't destroy what we're trying to steal, so that's 1 less. And I also think Kestria is 1 less, that we don't need that. Gain Shroud, I want that one. Return target, I guess we don't need to return a target from the graveyard with this one. That's 3 down, need 2 more down. So I want so far these 2 plus these 3 plus potentially these 3 and those. Now I did say that I only allow myself to use 8 cards. However, we will see if these cards can combine in some sort of way. So let's just see what we have here. This is just the best way for me to visualize it, is by doing it like this. Instead of like doing some slideshow where I have to read them one after another and remember each of their effects. So yeah, this Collector Oath thing seems pretty like horrifying for your party to come upon. You come upon this weird thing that can destroy enchantments. You can't cast things. Everything keeps getting destroyed. You steal down. So yeah, I do want Meltdown. And I like Gaddock Teague, but I think we might combine it. So I might do this thing where, even though I technically only allow myself to use 8 different cards, we might make it so it's like, it's Collector mixed with Gaddock. So like, if a Gaddock became a Collector one day, then that counts as 1 card. So it's sort of, you know, sort of like this. So I might do that for 1 single card. It's cheating, I know, but as long as I don't make it like godly overpowered, then I'm comfortable doing things like that. How many more left after this? And then is this the last one? Okay, so what abilities do I have? That's an enchantment. That's sacrificing to Shroud. So the Shroud one is a hiding one. There was another one that was similar to that, right? Or was it just the Time Warp, being able to shroud and take time? So I think shrouding and taking time are 2 similar ones, so we'll put those above each other. All the glitters, let's read that one again. Enchant creature, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each. Okay, so that's sort of like the armor. So those 2 are down there. Nature's Claim is destroying. That one's that. So those are there. Maybe Destiny's Spinner somewhere else. So that's destroy. And that's destroy. Oh, so this, you can destroy artifacts with X or less. So you can choose what type of artifacts. And then this one, you can destroy an artifact and its controller gains life. So potentially these ones are kind of maybe combining into 1 card here. Nature's Claim, like a corrupted version of it, I don't know. So like a corrupted Nature's Claim turns into Meltdown or something like that. Ethereal Armor and all that glitters. Destiny's Spinner, let's read that. Creatures and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. I like this one, but I don't know if it fits with the Oath. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, if we combine those 2 sort of like this, so you can kind of combine it, destroy target artifact costing X or less, its controller gains 4 life. You can combine that into 1 card. This only has 1 ability, the Oath. So if you make the Oath some sort of like corrupted version of Gaddock Teague, then it could have non-creature spells with X in their mana can't be cast. And then that Gaddock Teague got corrupted into an Oath, sort of like this is Smeagol, this is Gollum. So now it's 1 thing. Let's put this below. And there we go. That sort of makes sense. Yeah, kind of like that. Okay, so here we go. This is what we have so far. So Gaddock Teague is basically the Smeagol that turned into the Gollum that is the Oath. So we have these abilities here. Non-creature spells with converted mana cost 4 or greater can't be cast. And non-creature spells with X in their mana can't be cast. So no powerful spells or creatures. Then there's the bonus, activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. So I really like that. So it's sort of a corrupted version of Gaddock Teague. And then it has the Time Warp to take an extra turn. Think of it sort of like some weird, it's not Fey, it's just this weird off, like strange thing. And then so it's got time magic. It can't do too much, but it can make itself like, you think it's in one place, then you blink your eyes and it's farther away than it should be able to move in that time. It just has that weird fairy-esque thing. Then Sylvan's, well, not fairy, but it's sort of like troll, so like troll time travel. There's also the Sylvan Safekeeper. Yeah, you can sacrifice one of the lands that it's on, and target creature gains Shroud until the end of turn. So you can shroud yourself. It can shroud and hide like a troll thing, like some sort of like, I don't know, thing that's just walking around like a troublemaker. It can shroud itself. It can get extra turns, so it can like shroud itself, you walk by, and then all of a sudden it takes an extra turn and it's way past you. There's the Keeper of Silence. It's got flying and activated abilities if creatures your opponents control can't be activated. Now I think these wings would just be pitiful, weird, like almost small little cherub-esque wings, but like in this weird corrupted oaf thing, so it can fly, and then activate. It's sort of maybe got some sort of weird corrupted angelic light. So it's not fey, it's like a troll oaf thing. I don't know what the oaf is, but it's sort of, you know, like I don't know, all I can think of is like troll, but in the sense of like little tiny, you know, like those troll dolls, those sort of things. So it has some like weird sickening light around it that that makes you not able to activate abilities of creatures. So yeah, I really like that. There's Destiny's Spinner. Creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered, which I don't know if it would have any magic, but target land you control becomes an XX elemental with trample, and where X is the number of enchantments you control. So XX elemental with trample. So it gets a creature that is as strong as the enchantments it controls. Now, ethereal armor, enchant creature, and enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. So this thing can enchant itself and all that glitters. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So he steals power from treasure after treasure, and what does it do for the oaf? Nothing. Well, before he steals the power from the artifact, if he has a large collection of them, he gets +1/+1 for each enchantment, +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment. So that's +2/+2 for each enchantment, or +1/+1 for each artifact. And then yeah, you get you can turn a land into a thing where X is the number of enchantments you control. So these two combine into one. So instead of destroy target artifact or enchantment and its controller gains 4 life, you destroy target artifact or enchantment with a total cost of X or less. So each artifact with X or less, and then its controller gains 4 life. You could just have, like, say 3 or 4 enchantments all on the oaf, or it would get like +6/+6 or something like that for all of this, and then you melt down all of them with X or less in one move. So you can either melt down all of the target enchantments and it gives the other person they get some life back for it, but you just destroy all of them, or you can turn them all into one large creature, or you can leave it all on you for just some bonus bonus energy shields. So yeah, you can't use abilities of creatures. You can shroud, it can take extra turn. Non-creature spells with converted mana 4 can't be cast, and non-creature spells with X in their mana can't be cast. So only plain creatures with plain attacking abilities can really do anything to the oaf. You know, just sort of like Goblin Slayer style, just walk up with a dagger and but anything else, you're just like, you don't get any of the shiny bonuses that you would want. So like I said, this thing at level 20 would have all of these abilities, but at a lower level, if this was a familiar to the Sphinx or familiar to a character that you have, then this would be lower. We'll combine all of these stats into one easy to read stat thing in a moment. Let's see what we can do with the Sphinx. Okay, so for the Dream Trawler, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. So for the Dream Trawler, we can have 2 more. Now I'm just going to go through and we're going to just do a little slideshow so we can see what we have. Rancor, put into the graveyard, return Rancor. Thrune Last Troll, I like the abilities, but not the theme. We might remove Thrune. I like the cost, low cost, for lots of abilities, can't be countered, but do I even want it? Can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. I love that. So that is the main thing that I want. Yeah, and then 1 to regenerate. So I do like those 2. So we might take the troll thing. Now, how do we give the Sphinx troll-esque abilities without making it? Maybe we tie this to the place, and then a Fleecemane Lion Monstrosity, as long as its monstrosity, becomes hexproof and indestructible. I do like that. So our main Sphinx can gain hexproof by discarding some of the mana, or it can just have it whenever it's in a monstrous mood. It can be calm, and then it gets monstrous, and all of a sudden it's hexproof and all of this. And I do like this, so we might tie the troll abilities to maybe the Dream Trawler as a Sphinx guardian. They guard some sort of knowledge or place or this, and the place that it guards might have something to do with the trolls, and then maybe it was given some sort of ability, so it doesn't need to take on any troll qualities except the abilities. Like, it could be given a blessing of the trolls, if that makes any sense. Sterling Grove, search a card. I like that on all enchantments you control can't be the targets of spells or abilities. So this works really, really well. So if the Dream Trawler is really using the oath and they're working together, then all of the oath's enchantments could potentially be under the control of the Sphinx, kind of, but can't be the target of spells or abilities. So this instantly makes all the things that the Sphinx has and all of the things that the oath has immune from being a target. I really, really like that. So pretty good. It's avoiding a lot of damage, avoiding a lot of targets. White cover mist, in which even gargantuans can hide. See, I do like this, but with like giant hands and sort of like horns or something like that. So, and then it turns into mist and it can regenerate and come back from the graveyard, and it can like reform itself into mist. I like the idea of its soul being on another plane, and this is only a physical form. If it's an ethereal, like if that's the soul, if it was projecting its consciousness into the world that we're seeing, then the Dream Trawler could reform itself however it wanted. So yeah, it could be from a different realm entirely, where there are more than just the last troll. Or maybe this thing projected its consciousness and was seen by something else. You might find this interesting, you might find this extremely, extremely lame, me doing things like this, but this is just what I kind of like to do. I like to just find things and create a new monster, find things that are thematically interesting, or potentially like just, ooh, that's a really, really interesting ability or something like that. Like, what's Primeval Bounty? That's beautiful art. Do I want this to be something? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3+1 counters on a creature you control. Whenever a land... Oh, well, that's just like a perfect card. It might not necessarily be the perfect fit for the Dream Trawler, but I do like those abilities. Those are all abilities that I would want this Dream Trawler to have. Oh, target creature you control. So you could do that to yourself. So non-creature spell. Yeah, I actually like this. This could be a good one to add to the Dream Trawler. That would make it really, really like Dream Trawler plus beautiful art and like beautiful nature, and I mean that's just perfect. You gain life and you can boost the Dream Trawler as well. So even if the Dream Trawler has to fight, if it does find something it has to fight, it can at least make sure it's powerful enough. Now, what do I need? I need something more for this Dream Trawler. So that's 6, that's 7, right? I need a place. Let's just look through Dream Trawler and go down, see if we can find a place that it can be linked to. Some sort of shrine. I want something, so it doesn't have one of those like layer effects yet. Oh, I like Faceburrow Elder. You gain mana. No, we don't really need any mana gain. There's no benefit to having mana gain on this creature really, because it's not really geared towards mana gain. I don't think this thing needs to have a like destroying aura. I think this thing needs to be a protecting of knowledge thing. So therefore it needs a place to tie it to. It needs a quality that helps evoke that it's some sort of nice thing that has a goal, and I don't know, like the Dream Trawler. I love the art on that. Isn't the art just so great? It's one of my favorite. I can't remember exactly when I saw it, but oh, what? Open image in new tab. That didn't, okay. Ah, look at that thing. That's such cool art. It feeds on the dark energies that course through the deep world, and on any other creature lured by the ley line's pull. So I kind of like that maybe a Dream Trawler is through the ley line. See all this purple, see all the cool magic energy that's showing here, the ley line energy? I imagine that's what the Dream Trawler's made of. Stuff of magic. It's not like a physical being, it's like a magical spirit sort of thing. Maybe some sort of ghost, or maybe some sort of, how do we tie all of this together? I know I'm gonna look over here for the Leyline Prowler, see if there's any cool like Leyline-esque sort of abilities. I need a thing to tie it down and a thing to make it not tied down, if that makes sense. It needs to have like Ethereal spirit, but a guardian over a place. I love the art here for the Parcel Beast, but I don't really like the ability. I mean, I like the ability, just not exactly what we're looking for right now. So yeah, something to make it free from everything, but a place to tie it down to. Vampire Nighthawk. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, the vampires fought the Eldrazi? So are they like, they're on our side? Oh, well, this one apparently wasn't able to. Vampire Shaman. That's like, that's pretty cool. We just need to find the right thing. Can't attack or block unless you control 3 other creatures. Maybe? That would really tie down the Sphinx, and the Sphinx would then have a purpose that it can't do anything unless it has certain people devoted to it or around it. That would make it thematically more interesting, although it would make it a bit weaker. This seemed like a good day to do this. I just wanted to sit through and have some sort of mental exercise to, you know, just to keep me thinking and just to keep making stuff, to keep creating. Sphinx's Revelation. You gain X life and draw X cards. That sounds like a pretty good thing. And it is Sphinx related. Sanctum of All. Ooh, I wonder if this is the thing that I was looking for. Was this what I'm looking for? At the beginning of your upkeep, you may search for your library and or graveyard for a shrine card and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If the ability of another shrine you control triggers when you control 6 or more shrines, that ability triggers an additional time. I'm gonna open that up because apparently shrines are a thing. I never heard of a shrine before, but I'm sure they could be interesting, so maybe a shrine. Ghost form. Enchant creature or planeswalker. So that way you can turn a creature into an enchantment, and you can make that thing come back. Kaya's ghost form might be a good one for the controlling. Yeah, it might be a good thing for the Sphinx to control the oath. To like, hey, ghost form it, so whenever it dies, it comes back right away. Alright, so I think we're gonna have to look through shrines now. Oh, utility lands, okay. I just wanna make sure, you know, maybe I break my rule and give the Sphinx a mana artifact. Let's see if we can find one that's super powerful, but just super thematically fitting. Ooh, I love the artwork here. That's sort of the style of art thing that I'm going for. That looks like it's from Theros or something like that. Ooh, the art is just so beautiful. I love just spending the day just looking through cool art like this. And so that was Leyline Prowler. Let's go back to the Dream Trawler and see what else it had to offer. I hope that didn't glitch. If that glitched, I just lost so much. I had no idea how long I've been spending here doing this. Yeah, so you might take the Sphinx thing. I'm not 100% happy with this Sphinx. I think we might just need to find some other weird things to add to this. I want some sort of like ghost thing, but tied down to a temple or a shrine, or we can find something that can make it all encompassing. Then we'll be able to have extra cards to add in. Like I said, I have a card limit. Ooh, whoa, that's beautiful too. So I have a card limit, and the more awesome cards I can have, the less awesome cards I can make this work with, then the more space I'll have room for cool flavor stuff. Winds of Abandon. Exile target creatures you don't control. For each creature exiled this way, its controller searches their library for a basic land. Those players put the cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle their library. Overload. May cast a spell for its overload. Change text by replacing all instants of target with each. Exile each creature you don't control. Oh, so a target creature or each for... Well, I really like that. Winds of Abandon. And that sort of got this sort of like... You can see like the purple-esque magic energy. So is the thing really a soul? Is it a physical Sphinx? Is it a soul Sphinx? What is it? So if it can affect your soul and exile your soul or something because it has relation to it, that kind of makes sense. Play the top card of your library. Okay, if you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to the converted mana cast rather than pay its mana cost. Sacrifice 10 non-land permanent. Each opponent loses 10 life. I like that one as well. Bolas's Citadel. It is Nico Bolas, so we are stealing from a really popular one. So potentially that might not work, but thematically and visually, I really like that. Combining Bolus's Citadel with Winds of Abandon could make some really cool, like that could be a cool monster. Whoa, that's really cool. Bag of Holding? I never knew that card existed. So yeah, you exile, so whenever you would discard a card, you exile it. Then whenever you sacrifice the Bag of Holding for the 4 mana, you return all cards exiled with Bag of Holding to their owner's hand. So it's basically a prepared space where you can have like tons and tons of things just building up, and then you get access to all of them at once. And since they're in exile, they're pretty hard to get rid of. 5 life, immortality, and your graveyard into their owner's hand. Okay. Oh, sorry, owner's library. Bottled life. Elixir of Immortality. I like that as well. 0 can be paid with 1 or 2 life. I like that as well. If we're going for denial, then that's a pretty cool one. I do like the magic mirror as well. Okay, I think we found a bunch of cool things. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so for the oath, we had this weird thing that can steal a whole bunch of stuff, deny you from using so many things, can use enchantments for bonus, and then can just melt down all those enchantments for like just right away. And it's got like the time warp and staying safe. Now let's find our Dream Trawler. For the Dream Trawler, we have a bunch here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 20 different cards that we're gonna have to try to combine down into 8. So I think we're going to start out by making some folders here for the creature, and then another, oh, I misspelled that, and then another folder here for some effects. So as far as creature goes, we'll put that there, we'll put the effect there, and then let's do another one for shrine. So for the shrine, I did want that potentially like the troll thing. I wanted the troll abilities to maybe be part of the shrine, but yeah, let's add that troll thing in as part of the shrine. So now we have the creature thing, which has, okay, that's quite a lot. I will admit. Now, effects to choose from, that's pretty good. And the shrine. So let's figure out how to get all of this into one character now. I'm gonna open up this again so I can actually look at all of this at once. We have Ghost Form, we have a Revelation, we have Winds of Abandon, which I really like, Molder Vine, I also really like, Elixir of Immortality's cool, but I'm not gonna force myself to have that in the character. And then I think Primeval Bounty and Cleansing Nova are second, so it probably goes from left to right in order of me choosing which one I would want. That's a pretty good one. Exiling, plus I love the artwork here. Whenever a creature you control dies, gain 1 life and draw a card. Okay, that's pretty good. Primeval Bounty. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 3/3 token. Whenever you cast, put 3. Oh yeah, so this one's making the character stronger. Destroying all creatures. Gain X life, draw X cards. I think these are actually a lot more similar. Oh, actually gain X life and draw X cards is actually here. That's, so it's these destroy, these gain. This is another life gain. This is a token plus character strength gain over here for Primeval Bounty. And Kaya's Ghost Form, whenever something you enchant dies. So Kai's Ghost Form is good for making the Oath an enchantment. However, many of these cards are better. So now let's move this up a bit, and let's just hit play until we get to the next section of cards, and let's stack those. So for our monster, we have the Sphinx, the Rancor, which I only want the when it's put into the graveyard thing. This one I do like some of the abilities. The top 2 can't be countered, spells can't be countered. I don't really care about trample, to be honest. So for the creature, I have Dream Trawler above that Rancor. The Rancor, I only want it so that it reforms when it comes from the graveyard. So we're just going to do that. And Dream Trawler has the ability to reform, because in my mind, the Dream Trawler is made up of, it's like its ethereal projection. And it's also mist, so it gets 2/2 plus each aura and can't be the target of spells or abilities. Gets hexproof with Fleece Mane. Control can't be the target of spells or abilities. All other enchantments you control. I think we're gonna have to get rid of Sterling Grove just because it is the same as the Mistwalker. So yeah, we'll remove Sterling Grove. I do like having this potentially like as a negative. Oketra the True. How you can't necessarily attack. Okay, now let's do the last ones. So we have Bolus's Citadel. We have the Troll, which I want all the abilities of, but I want to somehow attach it to a shrine or something like that. So I have too many things to choose from here. Sanctum of All and Troll. Okay, so I don't need Temple of Malady. I just like the look of that. Okay, so yeah, if we just crop Temple of Malady. So if we just take that and put that over top, that should be fine. So I like the idea of the Temple of Malady, but having the Bolus's effect. No maximum hand size. Don't need Magic Mirror. Delete that one. I do like not being attacked. We could just go like that and also add that to the effects. Don't need Sanctum of All, I just like the look of it. Let's move Tharoon to the monster list. So do I want a life total to attack? I kind of like that. So I think we'll keep that as one potential card even though it's 3. Now, Double Strike and Indestructible is pretty awesome. Okay, so that one we get rid of because Troll can't be countered and this can't be countered. So bye-bye Dragon Claw. Can't be target of spells or abilities. Let's get rid of both of them. So we'll take that and we'll put it right up there. Potentially we want something to regenerate. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Well, actually we don't need to regenerate because when it comes back from the battlefield, it restores with this one. That's one. So that's one card mixed with 2, mixed 3, 4. We need to turn this down to just 3. We need to just take 3 from here then. So that's Destruction and eggs. Oh, right. I already had them sorted. So if I can only take 3 from here, I don't need life because the thing can come back from the graveyard. And I potentially don't need the ghost form because no need in keeping that horrible troll alive. If it dies, it dies. If not, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to take this. I really like Winds of Abandon. It's got way less cost than the Cleansing Nova. I think we'll just get rid of Cleansing Nova because you don't need to destroy when you exile. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain a life. So we could do this mixed with this and make it so that the Winds of Abandon is an exile, but whenever something you exile, it gets a bonus. Okay, let's see what we can make with this. Let's see what we can make with this. Primeval Bounty, Oketra the True, so that's a monster. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be able to organize all of these. Let's make them just really tiny for now, because I've got a lot of cards that are all combining into one sort of thing. The Temple, we'll make that small, put that over Bolus's, and also add the Norn thing to that. Abandonment, Moldering Vine. Okay, so that's technically my 8 cards. Let's see if we could do this one then. Okay, so I'm back. I've got everything set up. So we start with the Dream Trawler, mix it with the Rancor and Uril the Mistwalker. Then we mix that with Winds of Abandon and Molder Vine together into one. Then we have Fleece Mane Lion, Primeval Bounty, Oketra the True, Sphinx's Revelation, and finally we have the Temple of Malady artwork over top of Nico Bolus's temple, attached with this one other one, Norn something or other, and it's got some cool abilities. So let's see what the total we have for this Sphinx is. So to start, we have the Dream Trawler, then we merge it with Uril the Mistwalker / the Rancor. It has, oh, I don't think I put the, yeah, I just want to make sure that, yeah, so I forgot the Rancor ability. When it's put in the graveyard from the battlefield, it turns to owner's hand. Like I said, this is going to be something that's equivalent to like a level 20 monster. So whether this thing can be even attacked by a level 20 party of D&D people, I don't care if it's balanced or not. I just made a cool creature for the sake of making a cool creature. So we have our Dream Trawler, which I think is pretty interesting, and then we also have its sidekick, the Oaf, which it keeps around because potentially this Dream Trawler is from another plane. Perhaps the Dream Trawler is on another plane and it only sends its ethereal form to this one to defend something. And since it's not physically on that plane, it has to rely on whatever help it can, even if it's the terrible, terrible Oaf. So let's start with the Dream Trawler. It has flying, lifelink, can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent controls, gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it, gets hexproof as long as it's monstrous. It also has double strike and indestructible. It has an aura shield, that's what I'm calling it. Creatures cannot attack you or a planeswalker you control unless they pay 1 white mana or 2 life. That's from down here, from the Norn something or other one. There's some Sphinx bonuses, which is whenever you draw a card, Dream Trawler gets +1/+0 until the end of turn, and whenever Dream Trawler Sphinx attacks, you can draw a card. So attacking draws you a card. Whenever you draw a card, you get a bonus until the end of the turn. So if you can attack multiple times in a turn, you'll get stronger, but you also get +2/+2 for each aura. So whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life as well. This has a lot of life gain, and whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 3/3 green beast token. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3 +1/+1 tokens on a target creature you control. So you can get 1 3/3 for each creature spell, or 3 1/1 tokens that you can put on a target creature you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, you gain 3 life. So when a creature dies, you gain a life. And when I say you, I mean the Sphinx. So when a creature the Sphinx control dies, it gains a life, and whenever a land enters the Sphinx's control, it gets a life. And whenever the Sphinx is killed, it can return to the owner's hand. So I like to think of it as its soul is being projected onto our plane, and whenever it dies, it takes a while for it to re-project its soul. And it can gain life, it can create things, and I really like this. And so that was what it has. Now it can discard a card to gain hexproof until the end of turn without becoming monstrous, because remember, let's see, as long as it's monstrous, it has hexproof. However, there's also hexproof on one of the other ones here. Yes, here we go. So yeah, you can get hexproof by discarding a card, or you can get hexproof by becoming monstrous. So it can gain hexproof without becoming monstrous. It also has the ability to exile. This is Winds of Abandon. So it can exile a target creature that you don't control. For each creature exiled in this way, its controller gets a basic land, played and tapped, then they shuffle the deck. So this Sphinx can basically just exile anything that's in its area, and then each of those things can be replaced with land. And it can also overload, so instead of just target creature, for 4 mana +2 white, target becomes each. So instead of exile target creature you don't control, you can overload it to exile all creatures you don't control. So this Sphinx can just be like, go away, leave my place, this is what I'm supposed to be protecting, and it can just like send you away. And the bonus effect, you gain 1 life plus you draw 1 card per your killed creatures. So you can exile all creatures you don't control, but then if creatures you do control die, then you get bonus points as well. Like if someone accidentally used your magic against you, you'd still be getting life there. And that is from the Moldervine Reclamation. So you gain 1 life and you draw per card for each of your creatures killed. And I just want to make sure that I have that. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life plus draw 1 card. I didn't write that down there. So yeah, so that's just a bonus. So it can do that, but it also has that a bonus. You can become monstrous to gain +1/+1. So the Sphinx can enrage and become into a monstrous form. And the Sphinx can look at the top of its library. It can play the top card of the library. And it can pay life instead of mana to play a spell card from the top of the library. So like I said, in D&D, think of this like getting an extra maybe action or something like that, or having like an extra, I'm going to use Magic the Gathering stack thing. So in Dungeons and Dragons you have initiative and you're on the initiative order. In Magic the Gathering you have the stack. So think of think of all of these, look at the top of the library, look at the top card, doing this, think of that as like initiative sort of stuff. It's like initiative mixed with extra turns. I'm not exactly sure how this would translate to Dungeons and Dragons, but basically it has some sort of precognizance about it. And you can pay life instead of mana, or you can sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Those could be enchantments or artifacts that the oaf is controlling, and each opponent loses 10 life. So it does have a thing where it can do damage to 10 life. It can exile. It has a bit of play for it can use things that other things can't really gain access to. And then for 3 mana plus 1 white, you can create a 1/1 white warrior token with vigilance. So it can just create some spirits around it per se. And you can gain X life and draw X cards once per long rest. That would be the Sphinx's Revelation. So you can activate the Sphinx's Revelation, but I think just once per long rest. And the thing it cannot do is it cannot attack or block unless you control 3 other creatures. That's from Oketra the True. Now, just because it can't block doesn't really mean anything, because our Sphinx is indestructible. Plus, it can also regenerate. Plus, so it can't be the target of spells or abilities, but it can be attacked, but it still has indestructible. So you can't attack or block unless you have a bunch of things, but even so, it can become hexproof and indestructible, and it can do a whole bunch of things. So it doesn't really matter if it is attacked or not, because it has lots of ways to keep itself alive. So that was the Dream Trawler. Now let's move on to its sidekick, the Oaf. So for the Oaf here, we have Collector Oaf, mixed with Gaddock Teague, sort of like here's Smeagol, here's Gollum. Then it's got these few things, the Time Warp and Sylvan Safekeeper for being shifty and having extra attacks and shrouding itself. You allow things to not activate, and it's got abilities to destroy things. So let's look through and see what the Oaf has altogether. So it's an Oaf that starts as Gaddock, then corrupts into an Oaf. It has flying, which is pretty cool, from the Keeper of Silence. It gets +1/+1 for each artifact, and +2/+2 for each enchantment, plus First Strike when that ability is activated. So these two here together, you get +1/+1 for each enchantment, plus another +1/+1 for each enchantment. But then the artifacts, you only get a single +1/+1 bonus. So yeah, +1/+1 for artifact, +2/+2 for enchantment, +1 is activated, the Oaf gets First Strike. Creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. That would be from the Destiny Spinner there. Non-creatures with X in their mana cost can't be cast. That's Gaddock. And non-creature spells with converted mana cost 4 or greater can't be cast. So there's a limit. You can't use spells above, let's say, 5th level. So only 4th level spells or lower could be used. And yeah, non-creatures with X in their mana cost can't be cast. So you can't use a spell higher than 4th level, but you also can't use a lower spell at a higher level. So if you were to do a level 1, but to do it at 5th level, that would be considered like X mana or something, I think. So yeah, like a level 3 fireball at 6th level, you couldn't do that. You could only do it at level 3 around this creature. Activated abilities of artifacts cannot be activated, and artifacts can't be activated. Which one is that? That would be the Oaf itself, right? So that's what makes the Oaf is it has that. And activated abilities of creatures your opponent control cannot be activated. creatures. Which one's the creatures? Here we go. So these two, the Oath and the Keeper of Silence, means creature abilities can't be activated and artifacts can't be activated. Now, what it can do is it can take an extra turn after this one, once again, once per long rest. I'm putting this Time Warp because it's a sorcery. For the sorcery abilities, I just have them as like an ability that the character can use only once per long rest. Then you can sacrifice a land to shroud a target creature only until the end of turn. Still, that's pretty good. That's like an invisibility thing. And 3 green, you can target a land, becomes an XX elemental creature with trample, where X is the number of enchantments you control. So that would be down here, the Destiny Spinner. So you can turn a land into an elemental creature for 1 turn, where X is the number of enchantments. And then now we get onto the enchantment side here. You can enchant target creature 2 per turn. This one gets enchant creature, this one gets enchant creature. So you can enchant 2 creatures per turn. And then you can also destroy target artifacts with total casting cost X or less. Its controller gains 4 life per target artifact or enchantment. So this one you can destroy artifact and enchantment. This one, it's only artifact. Though still though, I'll say you can destroy target artifact or enchantment with a total casting cost X or less, and its controller gains 4 life per each one that was melted down. So I think I kind of like that. So when it has its enchantments on its person and it's being a thief and it's hoarding them all, it gets +1/+1 for each artifact and +2/+2 for each enchantment. And then again, it can create a elemental creature where X is the number of enchantments you control. So yeah, even if you just enchant 2 creatures a turn and you get +1/+1 times 2, so 2 creatures equals +4/+4, you can make an XX elemental whenever you want. It can destroy all of the artifacts or enchantments, and if you consider it as owning them after it stole them, then it can gain life. So yeah, I really like this weird denial thing. You can't use magic above a certain level, and you can't use magic underneath that level at a higher level. Like you can't overcharge your spells or anything like that. I really like that. So yeah, we have our the Oath, and where's the Sphinx? This one, the Sphinx. So yeah, the Oath and the Sphinx, those two are pretty cool creatures. So I hope you enjoyed learning about these. I found it very fun to make this. This is going to be a pretty long video. I don't know how I'm going to edit this. I don't know if you're just going to be curious to skip to the end and see what I made, or if you're going to watch all the way through and see the process. Let me know if you want me to make longer videos showing the process or shorter videos with just the creation when I've had them created. So yeah, here we have our cool Oath thing, and then our trickster Oath that can be all weird, and it can just, it's a perfect trickster mixed with this sort of dream trawler thing. I loved the name, and I love the Collector Oath's artwork and flavor text, and that's what inspired this video. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this and you like it long, let me know. If you enjoyed this but you want it shorter in the future, then let me know down below. You can leave this video a like if you enjoyed it, or you can subscribe for daily videos. I make at least 1 video every single day, and I have 3 more creatures exactly like this. Well, not exactly, they're all different, but I have 3 more creatures that I can share, but I've already made them, so you won't get to see the process. So if you want to see more, then just let me know down below. So like I said, the rules for this are 8 cards, but you can combine cards into 1. Now, don't use any gods because that's too powerful, and then realize that this is the fully realized level 20 version, and then you have to imagine what it would be like at a smaller version. How few of these would the person have access to if this was your familiar? How few of these powers could the person use at low level compared to how many they could use at higher levels? Or you can make this, maybe the Dream Trawler Sphinx is like a dungeon, an ally or something. Maybe it could be an enemy, whatever. You can put these in Dungeons and Dragons. I just really like making a new creature from Dungeons and Dragons from Magic the Gathering creatures. I like mixing it. So my limit is 8 cards, even if 2 of the cards from each of them are big multiple things put together. So I guess this one has 3 combinations and this one has 2 combinations, but still, no gods, only 8 cards. You can combine multiple cards into one single card if you like. Let me know what creatures you would create. If you enjoyed this, yeah, leave it a like, subscribe for all that, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.